so that people get to know.
Right. Yeah, we are live now, I think. So,
Perfect.
guys, can you see and hear us? Can someone please comment?
I s- uh, Hello, Manish. Can you hear me? It's okay. I'm getting.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Perfect. So all sounds and everything is clear, right?
Yeah.
Friends on those who are watching us
Okay.
live, could
I
you please
think.
confirm that everything there's no echo and sounds is and everything is clear?
So, yeah, sound is fine.
Perfect.
All right. So, let's get started. So, all right,
Yes,
guys,
we can.
welcome everyone who has joined today.
Maybe Manish, we can wait another like 2-3 minutes. So let's people join. I just got a lot of
Oh,
pings, so
okay.
people are still joining.
Right. Okay, so let's wait for maybe like up to 10:05 and then we'll start.
Perfect. That sounds good.
Yeah. So guys, we'll be starting in a couple of minutes. So 10:05 we'll start. There are a couple of more people who might join. So let's wait for a couple of more minutes and then we'll start.
Sure.
Hi Vivek. Hi Shalini. Hi Nishant. Hi Cutie Pie C. And hi Arun Raj.
Hello, everyone. Maybe Manish, we can start now.
Yeah, I think we can start. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the first live session from Software Testing Mentor. And today we have very important guest and creator of Selectors Hub and ChroPath. So I think Sanjay has left the journey of the ChroPath. Now he is completely into Selectors Hub, and I have been in touch with Sanjay for quite a while, and because of all the tutorials that I have been busy with, I couldn't had this live session earlier. And the other reason I'm, having this session very late is because I wanted to myself um, get into Selectors Hub and see what exactly Selectors Hub does. So I was pretty impressed what Selectors Hub does and what capabilities it can bring without you losing your capabilities of creating the CSS selectors and XPath if you are doing the web automation using Selenium. So there is a series on my channel about Selenium automation wherein I have created a complete series about CSS selectors and XPath. So how you can create complex CSS selectors and XPath. And when I created those series, there was no selectors hub, I believe that time, or even if it was there, I wasn't able to find it. But then Sanjay came up with this tool, and I thought there is such a nice tool which would have saved so much time. So what I'll do is now, after this live session, I'll ask a couple of tough questions with Sanjay, from Sanjay, to explain how Selectors Hub can tackle all those complex XPath and CSS selectors. Along with that, once we are done with this, I'll create a couple of tutorials with Selectors Hub and how you can use it basically to create complex queries or complex XPath and CSS selectors for your Selenium automation. All right, so that's a bit of an introduction, and over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you for the great introduction and setting the platform. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining. So yes, it was a good journey for selectors of so far. It's been like very just three. I mean, not even 3 months completed. So it's all going good, and it's really innovative product. And we'll see what are the advantages. And first, so what we are going to talk about today, I'm going to teach you guys and show you guys how you can write the different kind of locators, how you can be a master on XPath and CSS selectors, as our agenda says, the topic says today's. And what all things we should keep in mind while looking at the DOM, what all things we should know, because what happens many times, like we know a set of pattern of writing XPath, we keep writing those kinds of XPath only always. And whenever somebody asks, when we stuck in such kind of situations where we got a complicated XPath, or we have to write some really complex one XPath, in those situations we got stuck. So hopefully this session will help you to learn more about those selectors, new functions, and what are the things which has been now innovated and which you can solve now with huge time saving. So with that, let me share my screen, and just let me know, you guys, if you can see my screen. Manish, just allow click on that window.
Right.
Okay.
So
So
guys, can
anyone
you
over
see
the
the
chat,
screen now?
confirm. I hope they can see now. Perfect. So Manish, as we will go on, I would not be able
Yeah.
to see the chat window and the question. So if anybody asks the question in between, we will be like maybe another 15-20 minutes. We will take a break. We'll take the questions, and then we'll continue. And then again at the last, we will have the Q&As.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. So today's topic is Master XPath and CSS Selector for Selenium Automation using Selectors Hub. The very first thing, like guys, I consider myself that I believe that locators and selectors are the tires of a car. Without the locators, if locators breaks, your automation script will fail. Your test case will not be able to execute, like you will not be able to proceed further. So we have to make sure that we write the best selectors, robust and unique, and something like we have to make the locators strategy, because locators are the backbone of our web automation, UI automation. So if we are writing any locators for any kind of website or web applications, we have to make sure that we write the best and robust selectors, which doesn't get like broke in the next run itself. So for an example, here on the Google website, if we have to write the selectors, how do we write the selectors today? Yes, there are many XPath tools we have seen in the past. In fact, like it has been suggested a lot that we should not use XPath tools in the past, but believe me guys, that statement should change now, because with the time we should get upgraded, and we should adopt the changes, like because things change. Few things which has been we have considered as a standard are not always standard, and are not always correct, which I will show you guys today, because still people have that perception, and it has been suggested a lot, been like everywhere, that we should not use XPath tool, we should not use any extension for writing selectors. But if we are not using that, then I will show you that what we are lacking, what because with this new reality selectors up, you will see that what all things we have never learned, we have never known about those things, and we have wasted a lot of time. So for an example, on this page, if we have to write an XPath for this element, let's say input field, how do we do it today? So like, one second. So here, if we go like google.com or any website, so we do inspect and write an XPath for this element like this way, double forward slash, we start typing, and as soon as we start typing, this used to go up and down. You see that it is coming here, then again we inspect this element, then we got this, and we copy this value, and then we write the @class is equal to something like this, and we got one of one. So a lot of typing, inspecting element again and again. So these kind of things were there when we are writing through DevTools. Now first let me show you guys what all types of functions are there. I just gave a small introduction of XPath, how do we write XPath in DevTools. So there are a couple of types of XPath functions. Maybe a few of you are already aware about them, few of not. So those for everyone, this is the one, the standard format while writing the XPath. We start writing double forward slash tag name, and then @attribute name is equal to attribute value, the first one. Here we can write in two ways, like single forward slash and double forward slash. So single forward slash we use for an example here. If you see like for an element, if we have to inspect this element, free sign off here. One second, after adding the extension, we have to restart the website, reload the page if it is for the first time. Yep. So for an example, we have to write an XPath for any element. So there are two ways, like one we write the forward slash, single forward slash, another we write the double forward slash. So this question comes that what is the difference between single forward slash and double forward slash. So here, let me just first close the selector sub tab. So single forward slash means that we are traversing one by one, like parent, then child, then child, then child, then child. It will not directly jump to that any element. But when we use double forward slash, that means it is directly jumping from top to that particular tag. So if we have written here double forward slash a, it will find all the a tags in this page. If we will write single forward slash a, then it will not directly find all of them, and it will be like, basically if we writing if we have to find, like we have written XPath like this, double forward slash body, and then single forward slash a, it will find immediate child of body if a is there. No, if we use double forward slash, then it will find all the a inside that body tag. So the difference between double forward slash and single slash is that immediate child is single forward slash like this div, and then if we write div then forward slash div, then it will find this one. So likewise, if we write div then double forward slash div, then it will find all these divs. Okay, so hope this is clear, like double forward slash and single forward slash. So the concept of it is always recommended that use the double forward slash in most of the situation. So and wherever, if you are writing some complex XPath where you have to go for the immediate child, then you can use the single forward slash. Then the like basic formula of XPath is tag name double forward slash tag name at the rate attribute name is equal to attribute value, and here we have to write in single quote or inside double quote that value. Then we have the contains method as well. So this is for exact value matching. Then we have the contains method where we in place of equal we use the comma at the rate attribute name comma at attribute value inside single quote or double quote, and here we can use the substring. Then we have text method like equal, and then we have the contain same format, just that at the rate will not be there in text. And then we have a lot of XPath has a lot of more functions, like n number of functions are there, tough to explain in one session all those functions. But yes, like accesses are there, following, preceding, sibling, ancestor, descendant, and or function is there, index is there, position is there, normalized space is there. This is a really powerful function, normalized space, I will show you today. And then there are many. So let me take one example
So,
from
so Sanjay,
yes,
just want to
Manish.
mention there. So all these, like functions that you have mentioned, they are already there. The tutorials are there. So if you want to learn a lot more detail, you can go through these, and then Sanjay will cover these functions up to some extent, and then we might come again live, or I'll create, so tutorials using these functions with Selectors Hub, which will help you in future. So
Definitely,
yeah, over to
definitely,
you,
Manish.
Sanjay.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, thanks for adding those points. Yes, because definitely, like, it's not possible to explain each and every function in very detail, but I will try to cover as much as possible. And furthermore, Manish will be keep adding on tutorials. So yeah, thank you. Then okay, so first let me show you a few of them here, how we write those XPath using these functions today. So let me just inspect this here. And if we have to write an XPath for this element, so what we do, like we do command F, and then we start typing here double forward slash A, and you see that here it is showing 1 of 30, 130, but this is not A tag, and that element itself got scrolled up and down. So what we'll have to do, we'll have to inspect that element again to get that value, to get that node. So here, if you see that we feel that this free sign up is text is, we can use the text. So here we will have to type the text, and still we are not sure whether that text will be unique or not, right? So we will have to hit and trial, we will have to think in the mind, in the background, that whether that could be unique or not. So either we type that value free sign up, or we copy this value from here. So this is how we made the 1 of 1, this free sign up. So yes, this we can use it in our script, but here we have 2-3 times inspected that element, then we copy that value, and still we were not sure whether that will be unique until unless we have not verified that particular text. Okay, so, and this is one function that text is equal to this. We could have also written like this if we have to add one more condition. So once it is highlighted, this one, you cannot double copy this value. Now you will have to, like, once it is highlighted like this, we cannot click on this particular node. You see that I'm clicking on this, but I cannot copy this. So this is another challenge in writing in DevTools. So if you start typing, then you would be able to. So if you have to add this, you can add this, add is equal to this. So this is how we write in DevTools. This is one function, like attribute and text we have seen. You could have added and condition here as well, and or condition you can add like this. So here you have to keep on checking whether that X path is there, whether the element, how many matching nodes. So you see that when we have added or condition, now it is showing 1 of 9. So there are more than one matching node. And then if you have to add the following siblings, etc. Now here, if you have to add following siblings, you will have to type that complete syntax, and you don't know whether you are writing correct. If you, for an example, like I have written by mistake that following spelling is not correct, but here nothing will tell you that what is wrong or not. Whether your spelling is wrong, it is showing just 0 of 0, and after colon colon something is missing. So we, because we don't remember this syntax all the times. So this is something like writing code in Notepad in 2020, where we have so many smart editor like IntelliJ, Eclipse, etc. But we are writing on. Can you imagine like writing code in Notepad today? We won't be able to write. So when we have so many smart editors for every technology, every language, why don't we have a smart editor for our XPath writing, CSS selectors writing, locators writing, where we are wasting today? We almost waste almost 70 to 80% time. People believe that, even in, I mean, few people believe that 50 to 60% time, if they have complex locators, then they waste almost 70 to 80% of time of writing their UI web automation in just locators. So why don't we have the smart editor for that? So with that concept, with the learning concept, selectors has been invented, and it's not at all like any other XPath tool. So now let me show you with Selectors Hub how easy it is to write an XPath locators for any element. So same, you just inspect this free sign up here. So this one is the element. You just start typing // a. As soon as we type // you see that it is showing us there are 123 anchor tag on this page. So now you can select that, and it is also telling that XPath is there. Let me just turn it off, this auto suggest uh, auto generated mode, and there you go. You select this. As soon as you open square bracket, it tells you that these are the possible functions, these are the possible attribute and text functions which can be used for to form the XPath for this element, and these are the occurrences. So now you have need not to select this and then check out by pressing enter that how many matching nodes are there or not. Immediately we got to know that okay, these are the possible things. So whatever we have written here, that you got immediately here without doing anything. You just go there and simply write it. So let me show you that how this is possible and how fast it is. Just in few, like, have you ever imagined like this fast we can build the XPath? So this fast we can build the XPath. Now talking about this concept of following siblings, preceding sibling, axis. So if we have to create an XPath relative to something, so, like, let's say you want to find out the preceding sibling, following siblings for some element. So for this one, if you have to find out the following siblings, so you just open a square bracket, whatever access will be possible for this particular element, it will show you that. So like parent is possible. Yes, parent is there for this element. So it will show you that. Ancestor is there for this element. It is showing, but there is no descendant. There is no preceding sibling, following siblings for this element. So it's not showing that. It is smart enough. It is really smart that to that whatever possible, it will tell you that. And if you type further, it will also show you what all things are there. If you type an, it will tell you how many ancestors are there, which all ancestors are there. So suppose with respect to this free sign up, if you have to write an XPath for this whole header, so you just like hover on these elements, and you can see that okay, so this is the element for which is the header for this element with respect to this. So you can select this div and open bracket, and there you go, and you see that we have written the XPath for this header with respect to this free sign up. So this is how we can build the write this relative XPath with respect to any element which is relative XPath, and so fast we can write. And if you see that, if you inspect any other element here, so what you have to do, you have to just replace this here with block, and like in place of with respect to, like we have written, so in place of that we have written like with respect to sign up. Earlier we have written with respect to free sign up. Now we have written with respect to block. So how fast it is, because it gives everything in auto suggest. You can quickly build the XPath, relative XPath with this. I hope this
So
is clear
Sanjay,
and makes
just
sense to
just
you.
want
Yes.
to like mention. Yeah, so just want to mention like to create this complex XPath, the tutorials that I made are sort of, one tutorial of almost 8 to 10 minutes to explain the overall concept and create XPath, something like this that you have shown with the ancestor and all those functions. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you. And you see that while writing or while doing such stuff, if you miss anything, let's say after typing, you missed one colon there. If you hit enter, it will tell you that what is missing in your XPath. This is really useful. And if you are doing in this Chrome DevTools, you would never be able to understand like what is wrong in your XPath, why it is not finding any matching node. So there we were wasting a lot of time. Imagine same thing, because now we have the editor, the smart editor like IntelliJ. If we miss something while typing in coding, immediately we used to get to know that comma we missed semicolon, we missed double quotes, right? So those kind of stuff really saves a lot of time. With the same concept, Selectors Hub is here, which tells you that if something you missed, it tells you that single quote is missing, double quote is missing, what is missing in your, like if you missed anything, square bracket is missing, what kind of square bracket. So those helps you and saves small times for you and help you to learn a lot. And if you do anything wrong here, let's say after a square bracket you have typed something, so it tells you that what is allowed, what is not allowed. So a lot of good things are there. Anyways, so far we have learned about double forward slash, difference between double forward slash, single slash, these functions, and these preceding following siblings. Now we'll see and or conditions. So like we have written the XPath here for any element. Let me show you. Yes, free sign up here. So same thing, like you are writing like this way, and you have written, let's say text you want. Okay, and now you want to add an and condition here. So what you do, you just start typing and at the rate, it will tell you whatever possible options are there, and you just hit enter. There you go. So how easy it is, how fast it is. You need not to go back to DOM. It will not scroll up and down. There will be no. So the good thing about Selectors Hub is that it doesn't interfere in your work. Like whatever you have inspected, that will be there. You keep writing over here by looking at the left hand. This is the one of the best feature, and it really saves a lot of time. Then indexes. Yes, so there are situations where we got stuck in, like let me just create one XPath where it find the more than one matching node. So you see that there are more than one matching node for this. Now there are 9 matching nodes. So there will be situation where you would not be able to write a unique XPath. You would not be able to make that. There could be a chances that no text is unique, no attribute is unique, right? So in that situation we have to go for indexes. So what you have to do, Selectors Hub supports indexes really smart. You just put the cursor in the beginning, and as you write the XPath with indexes. So how do we, what is the syntax for writing the index is with indexes? Put the cursor in the beginning, whatever XPath is that, open parenthesis, and there you go. And this is the XPath using the indexes for the element which you have inspected here. So you see that. So this is what we have written the XPath earlier. This was the XPath, and then open parenthesis, close that complete XPath in the parenthesis and add the index for that particular element. So Selectors are really smart. It knows that for this element, what is the index, it will suggest you what is the index, and it will add the attribute XPath is equal to 1, or CSS is equal to CSS, CSS is equal to 1, whatever you are verifying in that particular matching node, and you would be able to know that, okay, so this is the one. So we have seen that following sibling and or condition, indexes, position, normalized space. So yes, it supports that position as well. Like if you are typing your XPath, it tells you that what position it is. And if you start typing, you just type the position, and if you want to edit something, like you want all the A's which are position at 1, it will tell you if there are any A's which are at the position 2, so nothing is there. So it tells you that what all possible, what is not possible. So it suggests you with all those stuff. And then what next is there? Normalize space. Yes, this is really important function, normalize space. So there will be situation where, like XPath, uh, where you will find the junk space. Like if you inspect this, and if you see that there is a space after this, and in fact, let me inspect here, there is a lot of junk spaces there. So if you are writing an XPath, suppose you are writing XPath here, so how do you do? Double forward slash a, and text is equal to, and now there is a space, because so whenever we copy the space, such a space, blank space before and after text in clipboard, different value of space used to come, and when you paste, then different value of space come, exact value never comes. So the problem with this, to solve this problem, this kind of situation, we should use the normalize space function. But here we don't know, because we many of you, I'm sure many of you, those who are watching, might not have heard about normalize space function. But here is, it almost like selectors sub knows almost all the new functions and everything. You just start typing, it will suggest you with the normalize space, and there you go. So this is how you can write the XPath and selectors for any element. And so the the job of normalized space is, it basically uh, trim function. Yeah, I'm sure you know about trim function. So basically, whatever junk space is there before and after the text, it removes that, and make sure with equal functions it work with that. So that way we can use the normalized space whenever there is a space before and after the text. So in those situations, this function is really helpful. So there are like n number of functions like that which selectors of supports and shows that. So make sure you check out those, and with that you will be learning a lot. I'm sure you have got all these things. Then comes to CSS selector.
So yeah,
There are again, yes, Manish.
Sanjay. Uh,
Yep.
yeah, so I think in this very short tutorial of the XPath, you have covered many of the important features of Selector Hub, and even the way Selectors Hub shows you all the possibilities of the functions and different combinations. I think that is very good way to basically master the XPath writing in all, right? So as you mentioned earlier, that there is a misconception that any tool that you use to write XPath or CSS selector will it won't help you in building that skill of what all functions methods are there. But I think Selectors Hub is totally different what with the tools that we have been using till now, and it
Yes.
shows you a lot more possibilities. So you see those methods and functions, you will be curious to learn the new methods and functions and what they do in the XPath selection. So it's even, I would say, better to learn the concept and then apply that using Selectors Hub. So a lot of possibilities I can see there.
Yes, definitely. And the concept behind inventing this tool itself, the changing the definitions of expert tools, and the main agenda was to make sure that people learn more about, like, because there is no book, there is nothing like that. Anybody can, while working itself, they learn. So this is something which helps you to finish your work on time by saving time efficiently, as well as helps you to learn. Because see, we can't read the book, we can't remember everything from, like, from learning from somewhere, from like book or something. We cannot go each day, but while working itself, if you are learning new things, that's really helpful, and as well as you save the time. So this that's the concept, and it is the only tool which like made possible to write selectors within 3-4 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now coming to the CSS selectors. So how? easy and how tough it was. I mean, how tough it was to write the CSS selector before for automation test engineers and our developers as well. Let me show you. So there are like a couple of functions. First, let's talk about the functions, how we can write the CSS selectors. So if there is an ID in your node, so for an example, let me see here if there is any ID. Okay, so there is an ID like this. Okay, so in this case, how we can write the selector? We can copy this value and hashtag and paste this value. So this is how we can write the CSS selector using the ID. So in ID values, we have to start with hashtag, that hash. And for class, we have to use the dot. Wherever there is a space, replace that space with the dot. So for an example, if there is a long value like this, so so most of the developers, how they write, okay, so once this is highlighted, we cannot copy. Let me just type something here so that highlight goes. Okay, so now there is a, if there are, wherever there are space in the class, so how people do this today, they just come here, they replace, and believe me guys, everybody does like this, and I'm not sure what they are learning from this. This is how everybody does it today. Everyone, like developers replace the space by dot manually like this. We also does the same way, and then we write the document.query selector, that command. I'm sure like many of you have heard about that. And in fact, like whatever command if you are using in your automation, that we do it like this way. And this is how we are forming it. And now we form the CSS selector like this. So this is how we form the CSS selector for using the class. If there is unique class, ID hashtag class. For class we use dot, and there is a functions like we have in XPath // tag name attribute value. Here we have in for CSS selector we have tag name attribute open square bracket attribute name and then attribute value, then tag another function is there. Like, so this is something really good. Ends with dollar is for ends with. So let's say your value attribute value is abc xyz, then you can, if you want to write with xyz only, then you can use dollar, that means ends with. Cap is starts with, star is contains with. Now let me show you how you can how we are building XPath for such this way for these elements, and how fast we can build it through selectors. So not coming back here. So we have seen for class and ID. Yes, you got that. Nothing you have to do. Like, you need not to copy that value. You need not to type a lot more things. For class, you just type dot. It will replace all the spaces by dot for you. Though it is a small utility, yes, we can think like, okay, what is there? We can replace space by dot dot dot. But imagine like there are so long, such a long class value is there, and there are like lot many space, 5-10 spaces are there. It is really tedious task. If you are an automation engineer, we shouldn't, if you are a developer, we shouldn't be doing those things like manually. There should be something really smart. So that is where the selector sub comes, and it really is smart. Just replace all these spaces by dot, and it makes your life simple, and there you could go. Now if you have to write the CSS selector with these kinds of functions like attribute name, attribute value, so you see how easy it made for you. You just start typing li, it gives you, you can select this value, you just open a square bracket, it gives all possible functions. Like with dollar you want write, with star you want write, with equal you want, cap, and it shows those possible occurrences as well. It shows an ID, whichever you want you can write with that. So it's really help in that perspective, and we have seen all those, and this is how it really helps a lot. There's a new reality. Build your own XPath and CSS Selector in less than 5 seconds without compromising learning skills. So we are learning at the same time new things, because I will be keep adding, keep updating selectors up, keep adding more functions, what are all possible things. So you need not to worry like, okay, what new functions came? I don't know which all functions are there. So you would be able to learn all those from here. Selectors Hub, innovation inspired automation. And how to install and use it, it's really simple. This is available for all the browsers. Open SelectorsHub.com, click the download button. So you see, you just go here, and for whichever browser you want to install, you just install it for any of these browsers, whichever browser you want. So Chrome you want, you just go there, Chrome browser, as it is already installed. So you will see uh, add to Chrome button will be there. And for any other browser, you just go there and install. So for Firefox also, it is available for Firefox. So there also you can just click on. So it is already added for me. So anyways, this is just a single click install, and there's no dependency on browser version, no dependency on any other add-on. And it, I have made it possible that it has the similar functionality on all the browsers. I'm really working hard. I'm working full time on this Selectors Hub, and not working for anything, any other company. So this is like uh, I, I make sure that all the functionality, all the features which you are seeing will be similar on all the browsers. There will not be any single change. So this is I'm showing in dark theme. So good that you can see that in dark theme as well. So it supports dark theme, same functionality, same, all the features will be same here in Firefox, in the DOM. And I will make sure that you don't face any challenge on different browsers, that okay, in Firefox it is working differently, or there are, because many people does testing uh, on any one browser if they have to do it. So there will not be any difficulty. And very soon I will be coming for I will be launching selectors for Safari browser as well. So hopefully it will be there as well. Very soon you will see that. Okay, so yeah, so this is how you can install and upgrade. And whenever if you have once you install it in your browser, either you can restart the browser or reload the open tab, so that only once it is required, not every time. And I would really request you guys to make the best use of Selectors Hub, because there could be like more features has been added, more updates keep coming. So please do watch the video to make the best use of it, because there will be a lot of features which you might not be aware whether how to use, and what all good features are there, really time saver features could be there. So please do watch them. Now let's talk about really advanced feature which can save a huge amount of time for you. So Selectors Hub, as soon as you open it, you will see that it shows you all possible selectors. So let me open it fresh now. It shows all possible functions here. Once you open like selectors are for you, it will show you all possible functions. So make sure that page is loaded. You are not trying on blank tab, because many times we think that this is google.com, but this is not google.com. Okay. So as soon as you will open Selectors Hub, it will show you all possible functions, all possible selectors for the inspected element. So you see here, let me zoom in. So here it shows all possible selectors for this particular selected element. So you see relative CSS selector. This is the only tool which gives you the relative CSS selector. I'm sure you all have this question whether CSS selector is faster or XPath is faster. So keeping that in mind, and upcoming like frameworks, automation API, most of the people are moving towards JavaScript based framework. So for keeping that in mind, I have introduced this new selector, relative CSS selector. It gives you the relative CSS selector, which really short and small, compared to like what you get it from the dev tools. If you copy from here, that would be really long, and the one which you are seeing is here is like something like XPath. You will get that feel. And in fact, like if you go in many situations, it gives really small XPath. If you see in this situation, if you in this page, if you try to write the XPath CSS selector for this element, it will be really tough for you. But you see here, it is here you will feel that yes, it is relative CSS selector. It is joining this child to this particular parent to make it unique. While let me copy the CSS selector, what you get it from the dev tools, that shouldn't be that small. You see such a huge CSS selector we got from Chrome dev tools, and what you get from uh, SelectorsHub. And there are more features, really smart and really advanced. Let's say you doesn't want to generate it with class, you just uncheck the class here, it will generate with some other attribute. You check this, it will go with that. You doesn't want with placeholder, just uncheck that. If it is checked and you want with some specific attribute, let's say you doesn't find your attribute here and you want to generate with type attribute, you just pass that attribute here and press enter, it will generate with your attribute. So it has all those capabilities. And with that, it also saves your settings in local. Like if you, let's say you next time when you open your, so you want that your attribute, your settings should be saved there, it will keep them saved. So this is really helpful, like you need not to set them again and again. And whenever you want to reset, go to default setting, there is a reset button, click on that, it will be reset to the default one. And if you, because now you and also this is really smart, the UI has been made it like very optimized and keeping that in mind, because there's a less space. So you see that copy icon, you are not finding that, so you must be thinking how to copy that. So you just click on any of these header to copy this value. You need not to move your mouse. But yeah, there are few requests that to add the copy icon, so maybe in future I will add that, because many people doesn't get to know immediately that these by clicking on these header, they will the value will, this value will be copied. Though I try to make it smart and not the UI like too many icons there, but still, yeah. And if you want to edit this value, you just add it or change something, you just click on this value here, they will the value will be copied and pasted here in the box, and then you can edit the value. Also, like if you want to for you doesn't want to write even in fact that command as well, like driver.find element or find by XPath, something like that. So that command as well, you can add it here. So let's say you have that find element by XPath. This is your default command in your framework. And wherever you are writing XPath, that just keep the keyword as XPath value and hit enter. You see that it will add the command in your XPath, in your different kinds of selectors, and you see that everywhere it will be the correct one. So by tag name, it make sure that tag names come, class name, by name, XPath, everything. And if you doesn't want, you just turn it off, it will go off. So really helpful in that case. So these are, and you have, this is the only tool which it made possible. Like let's say you doesn't want to use it as a generator, you just want editor mode, you just keep it off. Everything you decide, you doesn't, whatever you don't want to see, you just keep it off, and it will make sure that it saves in local. Next time when you will open it, it will open with your options. If you want to see that, you open that. If you doesn't want to see this attribute option, you can off this as well. See simple UI, it's very simple. You doesn't want something, you doesn't want, it's up to you, you decide that. And if anything else you want to change, feel free to connect with me on over Slack or anywhere in Git. You can raise the issue or feature request. I will make sure that immediately in the next build you will get that fixed. So there are a huge number of features, really innovative,
So,
really
Sanjay,
good for you. Yes. Yes,
so
Manish, you're saying?
just for that function you mentioned, right? Find value by XPath. So it's
Yes.
applicable for all the, find by XPath, find by CSS selector. So we can write any of that, right?
Yes, yes. So you just
Or it
make
only
sure that
supports XPath.
whatever you just write for XPath, rest it will take care. So because there could be multiple commands. So here you, if you see that it gives the example as well, uh, you have to just type an XPath with the XPath value keyword. Rest it will take care. Like for CSS selector, it will automatically change. So it is smart enough to change in other command. So one standard command, rest it will take care.
All right.
So anything you type doesn't matter that whatever you want to type, just keep the keyword XPath value wherever your XPath you have written in your command, and then hit enter. It will take care of that. Make sense?
Right. Yeah. Good. Good. So there is a question as well. So we can we take that? So the question is from Vivek. In
Yes.
XPath and CSS Selector, which is the most efficient and why? So what are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
So yes. So okay. So the very first answer for that one is now there is no difference. You will find out it is really hard to like make the difference between XPath and CSS selector, which is more efficient. Theoretically, yes, there's a CSS selector is faster than XPath. Earlier it was more meaningful. This question was earlier meaningful when IE and other browsers were there, which were not JavaScript based. But now most of the browsers are JavaScript based, so there is hardly there is a performance issue comes. You would never be able to figure it out. Why CSS selectors is faster than when we write CSS selectors? So because most of the time we are writing CSS selector with directly class name or the hashtag ID, so that directly jump to that particular keyword that used to keep looking for that particular keyword. But when we write double forward slash div or single forward slash div as an XPath, it start traversing from the top to bottom. First it will search for all the div, then it will go for those particular attributes. So that comes like traversing time that takes sometimes. So that is the region, like because that travels one by one, or like jump like from parent to child, so that way. So hardly there is a like, first of all, there is no difference. You won't be able to ever figure it out. Whichever you is possible for your application, go with that one. Of course, like if you find better CSS selector, always go with that. And you must be knowing the order of which selectors you should use. First ID, then different one, then different one. So that order, you know, that which is as per the like theory, you know that. But at the end we have, I mean, most of the time we have to go with the XPath, because XPath supports a lot of functions, and more flexibility is there in XPath. So same I try to introduce with the relative CSS selector in Selectors Hub, to give the similar functionality, similar capability, flexibility like XPath. So you get that one. I hope that helped.
Yeah, I think yeah, with naked eyes, I don't think there is, like any difference as such with the XPath.
Yes.
IE was an exception, I know.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
IE, you could visually see that, but yes,
Okay.
now
So
with other browsers, I don't think it actually is a problem. But yeah, as you mentioned, go through the sequence of the
yes.
theoretical aspects, so ID, name, and then CSS selector, XPath accordingly.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's again asking, when we write it using XPath, I came across that we will be having more command on the XPath with respect to HTML DOM. Will this
Sorry. Sorry.
JS path
I
work
didn't get it.
directly with Shadow DOM? Sorry.
Uh,
So the question again is, when we write it using XPath, I came across that we will be having more command on the XPath with respect to HTML DOM.
okay. So then you said something like
So I
shadow
think
DOM. Yeah. I'm not very clear with the question.
that's a
Actually, is that a question, or
separate. That's a
he's
different.
just, okay? So he's is he asking the question, or he's
I
just
think he's just
adding the inputs? Okay. 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 Yeah. Sure. Sure. Thank you.
he's
I guess he's
he's just
mentioning
adding
the
the
input.
input there. The second question, yeah, the second question is from Shubham Banerjee. So
Mhm.
will this JS path work directly with Shadow DOM?
Okay. So I'm coming to that. Shadow DOM things. I'm coming over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just, because we are running out of time, so let me just quickly come over there in the slides for Shadow DOM. So I will explain that. So it has those all those features. So this I have shown you guys, and all this, like as soon as you start typing, you get that misconception with Chrome dev tools. So let me show you guys like what all things wrong we have learned so far, and still we are not, if we are not like coming up with this we are not coming out of that perception that uh, let's say we are not coming out of that perception that we should not use XPath tools. So for that, let me help you with that. So day before yesterday, and I mean last few days, I have some couple of surveys over LinkedIn and different social media platform that what all selectors possible for particular element, for particular tag name. So if I show you, like almost like more than 80% people has given the wrong answer. The votes are like, you see that this one, which selectors can work for shadow DOM elements. Yes, so here you see that almost just 15% people has given the right answer, and almost like more than 80% people has given the wrong answer. Similar, there was a question on this one, SVG. Only 22% people has given the right answer. Almost like 80% people has given the wrong answer. Let me show you why. Because if you inspect this SVG element, you right click and copy the value of XPath here and paste this. What value you got? You got /SVG, which is wrong value. First of all, this is not the correct format for writing the XPath for SVG elements, but this is what we have learned because we have considered it as standard. Every time something which has been made by some big or something, or which is there from the beginning, is not always correct. There could be some issues. So for that, we have to adopt new things. We should upgrade ourselves. Same thing, like let me show you here from how selectors help you in the learning. Immediately it tells you that this element is inside SVG, and as soon as you start typing it, it gives you that the correct format of SVG. And if you paste something wrong here, it will tell you that this is invalid SVG XPath format. This is what SelectorsHub helps you in learning, and this really helps you a lot. And in fact, it gives you the correct XPath for this particular element. With that, this really helpful. Same thing for the shadow norm. If you inspect this element, and this is the element, let me right click here, copy this value, copy XPath, and paste it here. This shows you 0 of 0. But we didn't get to know that this element is inside shadow DOM or not until unless we don't have the knowledge of DOM. Okay, now we have the knowledge of DOM, we got to know the shadow DOM, but we don't know whether XPath supports or not, because Chrome DevTools is giving XPath for this element as well. No, this is wrong. Just open SelectorsHub. SelectorsHub gives you the correct syntax of the, and tells everything basically. It immediately tells you that this element is inside shadow DOM. This element is inside shadow DOM. For such element, XPath won't support, and it gives you all possible selectors for that. So the answer for the question, JS path is nothing but it's just a CSS selector in which document.query selector command is appended. If you have to like, now it's up to you what kind of, because most of the time we have the wrappers of methods, so it's up to you like what kind of what method you are using. Like few people use driver.find element by .xpath, right? Few people use find by element, few people use so it's just kind of wrapper if you have written that you can use, but only CSS selector supports for shadow DOM. So JS path is nothing but it is a CSS selector in which document.query selector command is appended. That's all. There's nothing much big difference. So yeah, and if you write any XPath here, it immediately tells you that invalid CSS selector, XPath doesn't support shadow DOM. And you can learn more about these selectors here in SelectorsHub. I will keep updating and adding more XPath function, CSS selector function, and error message here. So this is the wrong misconceptions we have learned a lot. Imagine like I was like literally feeling very sad today that I'm trying so hard, and I'm trying my level best to make everyone learn about these locators and everything, but still people, imagine like just 15% people has given the right answer. 85% people of the industry think that XPath could be written for shadow DOM elements. I was just like literally surprised, and still people say that we should not use the XPath tool. SelectorsHub is not an XPath tool; it's an exception. It is a real innovation which has changed, which is changing the industry, and which is really helping us to learn new things and learn the right concept. Anything which is standard is not always the correct, or something is standard really. So yeah, it helps you a lot. SelectorsHub for shadow DOMs elements. So you see that yes, it supports that, SVG element is support. It supports iframe as well. So like if any element is inside iframe, it immediately tells you that that element is inside iframe. So you see that in selector test project chat window, that is a iframe. This is an iframe window here, so it immediately tells you the XPath for the element which you have inspected, as well as the XPath of the iframe. So you need not to even worry about like writing the iframe XPath inside which iframe it is. So really helpful. Then can someone tell me like what's wrong in my selector? So you guys have seen that if there is any something missing in your selector you have written, so it tells you that what is missing, what is wrong in your XPath, all those possible error messages. It was never possible before. Then we have that question always, because we are talking about a browser plugin, so whether it is secure or not. It is the most secure plugin. It doesn't save any user data. It doesn't fetch any user data. It doesn't have any server. SelectorsHub doesn't have any server. It runs only on your local. So it is the most safe plugin. Slows down your browser? No, not at all. It is the like, if you check out the file size, it has less than 250 KB, and this is doesn't make any performance slow. Sometimes people open a lot of tabs, so that could be one issue. I would really request you, all of you, that please support SelectorsHub by sharing it, writing blogs, articles. Is there's no license required, and please help our community to let know about this amazing innovation. And this is just the beginning. A lot more innovation in SelectorsHub will be coming, and you will be seeing a lot more on this. And this is absolutely free, no license required. I would really request you all, please be a patron. Even one coffee cost will help me a lot to get my bread and butter, and I'm working full time on this project. And if you have any request or any feature request, anything, feel free to reach out to me. These are some of the selectors of achievement, being used in more than 100 countries, became #1 CSS selector tool in Chrome Store, appeared in LinkedIn profiles, more than 5,000 downloads just in a month. Engineers calls it lifesaver, and it's available in all the platforms like YouTube, Udemy, everywhere, just in a month. And I, with a huge thanks to all the selectors of sponsors, supporters. Test project is our primary sponsor, so I'm really thankful to them, and all the agile testing, CPSAT, all the petrol level, and everybody. I'm really thankful, and I'm so thankful to the community. If you guys need any help, when you will open SelectorsHub tab, there on the footer you will find the all the links, and I would really request you guys do check out these links. It is really useful, and you will find all the information. I would also recommend test project is a free, a must try end-to-end automation tool. So do check out this test project. You can click here and it will take you to the test project website. So okay, so I have already opened it. So it do check out this, and it will be, it's an amazing solution. And okay, there's something more on SelectorsHub. So if you see that, if you doesn't want to open the dev tools itself, so there in the right click, you just right click in the element, and from there itself you can copy the selector. You need not to even open the dev tool. So what you do here, you just right click and copy relative XPath, relative CSS selector, whatever you want to copy relative XPath, and you see that you have copied the value, and there you paste. So this is so simple. And this is not just, you can also configure it. Let's say you doesn't want to see relative XPath, relative CSS selector, JS path, and absolute XPath in your right click menu. So you right click and copy here. If you see, once again, let me just turn it off. Also, like, you can turn it off from here as well. So you can also turn off the context menu if you doesn't want to see that. So this also you can turn it off. Once again, I guess I have added the test build. So anyway, so you can also turn it off from here. Looks like, once again guys, I have added the test build, not the production one. Yeah, so that was the next version actually. So you can turn it off. Like if you want to turn it off, you right click, so you see that context menu will not be there. You can anytime you can turn it on, and whichever you doesn't want to see, you can just make them off. and you see that whichever options you have activated, that will be here. So really amazing, helps a lot. And with that, thank you all for joining, and huge thanks to Manish. Do check out the amazing content which is available at Software Testing Mentor YouTube channel. You can subscribe, definitely subscribe to the channel. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. And you can reach out to me. You can follow me on this social media platform. Feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I'm here to serve you guys. With that, thank you so much. Over to you guys. Any question, feel free to ask.
So yeah, Sanjay, there is a question Vivek Ranjan asked. He clarified that question. So the question is,
Mhm.
we have option to get locator using XPath and CSS selector. So when we write it using XPath, I came across that we will be having more command on locator with respect to HTML DOM. So what it means is basically we can write multiple and or condition for achieving, XPath locator basically
Yes, yes,
as
yes,
compared to
right.
CSS selector.
Yes. So that is the
Yeah.
one of the region. That is one of the region that most of the people fall in using XPath in place of CSS selector, because XPath has a n number of functions, and the best thing about XPath, we can write XPath with text, which is not possible in like CSS selector, right? That is one of the best region. And of course, like he mentioned, and or functions, following siblings, etc. I mean, though siblings things are there in CSS selector, but that text thing. Imagine that text thing is, because of text thing not there in CSS selector. We have to write a huge, long CSS selector. So yes, he is right. Thank you.
Other question is from Genu, which is basically, does it support all browsers? So you can check. So I think there are 4 browsers
Yes,
that are
yes.
supported by Selectors Hub
Yes,
at the moment, right, Sanjay?
yes. It supports all four browsers. Can you, Manish, click on my screen? Share. I just shared again.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So as you can
yeah.
see, it supports all the browsers: Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Opera. So yes, it supports, and with the same functionality it supports. So like you can see here, so this is on Firefox, on Opera as well. It is there. So yes, it supports all the browsers, and soon it will be available for Safari as well. So you can download for whichever browser you want. Okay, so I have opened multiple browsers.
Right.
So
Cool. Yeah. Other question is again on the slowness. So XPath is slow. Do you have a solution to make it faster? Um, it is from Test Automation TV channel.
yes,
This
yes,
is this is basically, like, I don't think it's basic
yes. So
implementation, right? So what are your thoughts on
yeah, yeah. So actually, like when you write CSS, sorry, XPath. So what you can do is depends on what kind of XPath you are writing. So let me show you an example here. So many a times, because he asked a very valid question, like, because XPath is slow, so can we write XPath which could be faster? So yes, there are ways to write the XPath which are slow, which are faster. So here you see that XPath which Selectors Hub has built. You see that it is directly connecting this child to this parent, and it has made the shorter XPath. So it is not traversing through all the element. While when people will write the XPath, how we used to write, if somebody, some newbie is writing, so see this is 5 matching. What we will do, like in general, people does that they will traverse through one by one, and sometimes we fall into like writing uh, two or so see people will get tired of, okay, so this is not still finding. Then what they will use, they will start using the indexes. So in that case it becomes slower, and traversing one by one also, so long XPath could be slower. So that is the region selector sub here helps with the like shorter XPath and the robust and the means uh, what to say, that compress one. So yes, it helps that. And there are like different approaches how you write the XPath as well,
so
which also makes, because some people use the single forward slash, so that again cause an issue in the performance. Yes, Manish. Sorry.
Right. So Selectors Hub will like help you in writing the optimized XPath anyway. So I would recommend the best thing is basically to use the tool and see what suggestions are being mentioned by the Selectors Hub, and basically from those suggestions you will be able to get the most optimized version of the XPath and go through that XPath, not just copy it, understand what exactly it's suggesting, and then understand the details of the XPath. That way you won't lose the skill of learning these selectors, along with using
Yes.
such a great tool which will help you to find XPath CSS selector with such an ease. I mean, with seeing all these possibilities that Sanjay has shown, I'm pretty amazed, and I'll be very soon posting videos on all the tutorials, XPath and CSS selectors tutorials that I have posted, how all those possibilities are possible with using or by using Selectors Hub. So you can easily correlate. You can understand the concept from the old tutorials that I have made, and how Selectors Hub will help you to understand the concepts along with creating the XPath and CSS selector with such an ease and quickly. So the other question, Sanjay, is does it
Yes.
support all Angular elements? This is from Gino
Yes.
again.
Yes. Yes. It do support. It does support. So
Right.
this is one an Angular website. So some a user has shared with me. So if on Angular, like whatever tags they have used, so it does support like if whatever tag it is. So if you are able to write that XPath for your particular element, you see that this is I'm sure like the who would have asked this question. Thank you for asking this question actually, because many people had that perception that this will not support on Angular application, whether it will support or not. So thank you for that. And if you see that this is an Angular tag and here it supports that. So if you are able to write the XPath manually for that particular element, for sure Selectors Hub will support. If doesn't support, you can break my heart and you can reach out to me. I'm here to serve you guys, and I will fix that. If any issue comes, I'm here more than happy to fix those things. So feel free to reach out to me. There's nothing like that. If this thing is not working, you should not you should be worried. I will be worried and I will fix that.
Cool. So the other question is, does it take care of dynamic value?
Yes,
I
it
believe
does take care of
absolutely yes,
dynamic value.
but
Yes,
your thoughts?
yeah. And if it founds anything which is dynamic value on your like if it generate any value, any XPath which is or any value which is dynamic, like here you see that id, this looks like dynamic because it has alphanumeric value. I mean, there's no algorithm which can tell you that ABC123 is dynamic or static. For Manish it could be static, for me it could be dynamic, right? So uh, Selectors have has some intelligence that whenever it founds like alphanumeric value and it feels that it could be dynamic, it suggests you like this id looks dynamic, please uncheck the id to generate the XPath with without id. So you just uncheck that and then it will generate without id. If class looks dynamic, then it will again suggest that, so you can uncheck that, and that's how you can generate without those particular attributes. And now as I know that for my application this value is static, so I let me just copy this value and refresh the page, because so it just allow you to like decide whether that particular value is static or dynamic. So let me show you. Now as I know this value is static for this application, so I will not worry about that. You see that this value is still there, right? So you know that, and you can decide that whether which attribute is dynamic for you, which attribute is static for you. That you can pass it here, or you can just decide with which attribute you want to generate. So yes, it helps with that. Hope this answer helps you and the solution as well. And to all the viewer and
Yeah.
all the
So I think
users, I would really
any
request. Mhm.
questions?
Yes, Manish.
Yeah, I think there are no more questions at the moment, Sanjay. So, guys, if there
Awesome.
are any more questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll, you know. So there. Ginu is saying thank you to you. Test Automation TV is saying thanks to you.
Thank you,
So
everyone. And I would
Shubham
really
is
request,
saying thank
and
you.
it's my
So
humble
yeah, really
request.
nice work, Sanjay.
Yes, Manish. Thank you all. And I really request you guys, please add the review and rate Selectors Hub in Chrome Store and share it across your network. It will really motivate me. Nothing else I require from you guys. Just add simple review, and that will be more than enough. And share with others and in the community and with your team, so that they can learn more about things. And yep, thank you with that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Manish.
All right. Yeah. All right, Sanjay. Thank you very much for coming to the session and sharing your thoughts with such an awesome tool. I got a lot more new things in Selectors Hub today. And you know, I did a little bit of research already on Selector Hub, used it. It's already installed with me, but there are still new things that you have shown, for which I'm
Yep.
really thankful, and a really powerful tool. And it doesn't your skill, it even helps you more. And that's the best
Yes,
part that I
exactly.
like about this tool. I mean, I
Yeah.
have been in automation for more than 10 years now, and since the beginning there was no available as such which you can directly use, and you won't, you know, lose your skills of a CSS selector and, you know, XPath. So it really helps you to learn even more. So that's the biggest, you know, advantage of Selectors Hub. And we you know, guys, we might come again soon with Sanjay with lot many advanced topics. If I am not able to
Definitely.
solve couple of, you know, queries myself on my channel, then we might come again with Sanjay to solve some more, you know, queries around XPath and CSS Selector. Do comment in this particular video if you have any questions to me, to Sanjay, and we'll get back to you for sure. So thank you everyone, and thank you Sanjay for your time
Thank you.
today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Manish. Have a good day. Bye.
Good day. Bye.